Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. It's LGBTQ History Month in October of 2025, and while I think there are many fascinating time periods in Black gay history, the 1800s stand out as a time of revolution and struggle for many Black people across the globe. Black gay or queer men were making history in the 1800s, and I'm sure there are so many more Black gay icons and stories from the 19th century for us to uncover. So when we listen in history class to stories of this era and hear little about Black gay history, or watch popular historical TV series set in this era, like Bridgerton, it can be easy to ask yourself if Black gay men existed in this era, and indeed they did. Here's a quick list of just 5 Black gay and queer men from the 1800s who left their mark in history. William Dorsey Swann. William Dorsey Swann was an ex-slave turned Black gay socialite who created the first drag balls and pageants, where Black gay and queer men gathered to party, dress up in women's gowns, private lavish parties. These drag parties would become so popular that they would be raided by authorities numerous times and reported about in the Washington, D.C. papers. Because of his popularity, William Swann was reported to be the first person to call themselves the Queen of Drag, or the first drag queen. After being arrested and prosecuted for disorderly conduct in 1896, Swann wrote a letter to the then American president Grover Cleveland for a pardon, becoming the first American in history to legally advocate for gay men to gather in community, making him one of the first Americans in history to legally advocate for gay rights. Pierce Lafayette and Felix Hall. The first recorded formerly gay slaves to be in a couple, Felix Hall and Pierce Lafayette, were very close to William Dorsey Swann and the social scene of gay men who would dress up in drag balls. Felix Hall and Pierce Lafayette were 2 ex-slaves who had become free and were in a publicly recognized relationship, making them the only formerly enslaved men in American history to be documented to be in a gay relationship. They would also find community with other gay men and participate in the first Black drag pageants in American history alongside William Dorsey Swann and the numerous gay and same-gender loving men who were formerly enslaved. Felix Hall was even dubbed Pierce Lafayette's Negro mistress in historic records because of Lafayette's place in Black society and the open nature of their intimate relationship. Thomas Dilward. Thomas Dilward was a singer, dancer, musician, and performer in the 1800s who is not only one of the most notable performers of the minstrel era, he was also the first example of Black drag performers with dwarfism in modern American history. Dilward is one of only 2 known African Americans to have performed with white minstrel companies before the American Civil War, the other being William Henry Lane. Thomas Dilward was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1817. And most accounts state he grew to roughly 3 feet 6 inches in height. In the Lewiston Evening Journal of 1871, there is an advertisement for the Morris Brothers Minstrel Show, which features him and his enormous salary of $200 per week in gold. Thomas Dilward was able to travel to Great Britain, Australia, and New Zealand to perform his act to an international audience, making him one of the most successful Black performers of the 1800s. Now, while there is no definitive evidence of Thomas Dilward's sexuality, Dilward never reportedly had children, and he was comfortable dressing up in dresses in countless shows and multiple photo shoots, making him a drag icon of history. Kabaka Mwanga. Kabaka Mwanga II was a Ugandan king that ruled in pre-colonial Uganda at the age of 16 in 1884. Though many powerful men in this culture were polygamous, including Mwanga, who had at least 16 wives, it was well known throughout his kingdom that he also enjoyed the physical and romantic connections with many of his male subjects as well. King Mwanga was known to resist converting to Christianity and British colonialization, as well as resisting giving up sex with men. When many of his subjects and royal concubines became Christian, and some of his previous lovers began to deny his sexual advances because homosexual acts were frowned upon by the British, he would cast these dissenters out of his ranks and even execute some of them. Eventually, in 1884, King Mwanga was overthrown and replaced by his brother, and eventually the British would colonize Uganda entirely.